Man in America podcast, hosted by OG FOXXIE. Welcome to Black Man in America podcast. I'm your host, OG FOXXIE. We will dissect the dangerous policies and rhetoric of Donald Trump and his allies, including their relentless attack on Medicare, the immigration system, and reproductive rights. We'll also examine Project 2025, which threatens to upend IVF access, and the troubling responses from figures like JD Vance and Mark Robinson. So let's get started. Vice President Harris said if Trump wins, his allies in Congress intend to end Medicare's power to negotiate lower drug prices.
We, because of our work together, have finally given Medicare the power to negotiate lower drug prices with Big Pharma. And understand, if my opponent, Donald Trump, wins, his allies in Congress intend to end Medicare and end Medicare's negotiating power, as they remind us again this week. They are essentially saying, check this out, because you have to ask why, right? So why would you want to end Medicare's negotiating power against Big Pharma? And essentially they're saying that it's not fair to Big Pharma. That's essentially what they're saying. But I'll tell you what's not fair. What's not fair is that our seniors for too long have had to cut pills in half because they cannot afford their full medication. That's not fair. It's not fair that our seniors have had to choose between filling their prescriptions and putting food in their refrigerator or paying their rent. That's not fair. And that's why we will continue to do our work together, including Fight Project 2025, an agenda that would cut Medicare and increase the cost of health care in our country.
Trump will work for Big Pharma because they will put money in his pockets. The National Association of Black Journalists asked Kamala if she feels safe with the Secret Service.
Have you spoken to him? And earlier today, I assume.
Yes.
How'd that go? You want to give us some intel?
Sure. I checked on him to see if he was okay.
Yeah.
And I told him what I have said publicly. There is no place for political violence in our country. I am in this election and in this race for many reasons, including to fight for our democracy. And in a democracy, there is no place for political violence. We can and should have healthy debates and discussion and disagreements, but not resort to violence to resolve those issues.
On January 6th, your vehicle was allowed to kind of pass a viable pipe bomb. We've seen...
No, I was in the building.
You were in the building. And we've seen what's happened with former President Trump. Do you have full confidence in the Secret Service to protect all of you?
I do.
You feel safe for you and your family?
I do. But, I mean, you can go back to Ohio. Not everybody has Secret Service. And there are far too many people in our country right now who are not feeling safe. I mean, I look at Project 2025 and I look at, like the Don't Say Gay laws coming out of Florida. Members of the LGBTQ community don't feel safe right now. Immigrants or people with an immigrant background don't feel safe right now. Women don't feel safe right now. And so, yes, I feel safe. I have Secret Service protection. But that doesn't change my perspective on the importance of fighting for the safety of everybody in our country. And doing everything we can to, again, lift people up and not beat people down so they feel alone and are made to feel small and made to feel like they're somehow not a part of it or us.
Madam Vice President, thank you so much.
Trump's rhetoric makes many feel unsafe in America. Governor Walz said, MAGA Republicans tell you government doesn't work.
But I will say this. On the second one, this is the one thing he kept his word on. And he actually followed through with it. He said to his rich buddies, well, you're rich as hell, and I'm going to give you a tax cut. He did. He did give a tax cut to the wealthiest amongst us. All the while creating the largest debt of any president in history. And then, as our Republican friends are so apt to do, they tell you government doesn't work, then they get elected and prove it. We know that shell game. And the third thing he did, and he brags about this often, he forgets about this too. He rammed through 3 judges who made sure that women are no longer responsible for their own health care choices. And I don't know, he found enough energy to do this. He did all that before he tried to violently overthrow our election and deny a free and fair election.
Government never works under Republican rule. Tim Walz said JD Vance got called out by the press for spreading vicious lies about immigrants.
This last weekend, Donald Trump's running mate, Senator Vance, did a really remarkable thing. He got called out by a fair and free press that are a part of our democracy and fundamental to the freedoms of this country. He got called out by that press about telling vicious, hurtful lies about immigrants. But he did something. He told the truth. They asked him if maybe it was an accident or he didn't mean it. No, he said, I admit it. I'm willing to create stories to spread fear to drum up support for us. Now, the only thing amongst this group is no kidding. We've been seeing that for years. But at least they admitted it. So you got to ask, what other things are they making up stories about? I think you know. The reason you do that is because if you told what you really stood for, no one would vote for you. And that includes the folks who think that, because you have your neighbors who are out there. Hell, we have them in our families, don't we know? So, but that's what happens. And I don't really like Donald Trump, but I like what he stands for. Oh, really? Suppressing women's reproductive rights? Is that the one you want? Or is it cutting taxes for billionaires while you get screwed in the middle class? Is that the one you like? Or is it ignoring real problems, like our children being shot dead in schools? Is it those things or whatever? So I think for all of us, the truth here, you know who Donald Trump is. You know the pain that he caused.
Vance and Trump are desperate liars. Vance said, well, I think the media has a responsibility to fact check the residents of Springfield.
Hi, Senator Vance. Katrina Kaufman, CBS News. So a woman who was behind an early Facebook post about the Haitian migrants in Springfield has now apologized for spreading false rumors. You say that you have a responsibility to share what your constituents tell you, but don't you also have a responsibility to fact check them first?
Well, I think the media has a responsibility to fact check the residents of Springfield, not lie about them.
The media did fact check, and they found that it was all lies. Vance on Haitian immigrants who are here legally in Ohio legally.
Hi, Senator. Mia McCarthy with Politico. Question for you about the Haitian migrants in Springfield. So I know you've talked a lot about how we need to deport illegal aliens, but I wanted to ask you, the majority of the Haitians in Springfield came under TPS, so they are here legally. And I know you've expressed a lot of your issues with the TPS program and wanting to change that under a Trump-Vance administration. But I guess my question for you is, if you become the vice president under a Trump administration, what will you guys do about the migrants that are already there, since they did arrive legally? And a follow-up to that, if you plan to deport them, how would you do that legally?
Well, look, this is a media and Kamala Harris fact check that I want to clarify and clear up right now. And here's now, the media loves to say that the Haitian migrants, hundreds of thousands of them, by the way, 20,000 in Springfield, but hundreds of thousands of them all across our country, they are here legally. And what they mean is that Kamala Harris used two separate programs, mass parole and temporary protective status. She used two programs to wave a wand and to say, we're not going to deport those people here. Well, if Kamala Harris waves the wand illegally and says these people are now here legally, I'm still going to call them an illegal alien. And illegal action from Kamala Harris does not make an alien legal. That is not how this works.
Trump and Vance are promoting racism in America. A host asked Vance, you voted against a bill to protect IVF access.
How would this work if a state, and you believe that states should have the right to make these decisions, if a state bans IVF, but Donald Trump says he wants to guarantee and or pay for IVF for everyone who wants it, how would that work if a state banned it?
Well, John, I think it's such a ridiculous hypothetical because Alabama, which is maybe the most conservative state in the entire union, has actively protected fertility access and fertility treatments. There's no state in the union, whether a right-wing state or a left-wing state, that I think is trying to ban access to fertility treatments. And if Alabama's protecting this stuff, I think it's safe to say the whole country is as well. So,
but the court,
look, I think that what Donald Trump again wants to do is protect access.
Who is to say there's not another court in another state that could decide that IVF should be banned? It happened in Alabama for a minute. You also voted against a measure in the Senate that would have guaranteed access to IVF around the country. So it's possible, right?
Well, two things, John. First of all, yes, a court made that decision in Alabama, and like the next second, the Alabama state legislature fixed that problem and ensured women had access to these fertility treatments. And all that I voted on, John, is for religious liberty.
Project 2025 is against IVF. Trump said, raise prices on imported food.
Mom of 3, a grandmother of 7, and 3 great-grands, a registered nurse, retired nurse. So I know the cost that goes into raising children and running a household.
Yeah.
People just can't survive now. How are you going to bring down the cost of food and groceries?
Good. Very good. Thank you. So we have to start always with energy. Always. I don't want to be boring about it, but there's no bigger subject. It covers everything. If you make donuts, if you make cars, whatever you make, energy is a big deal. And we're going to get that. It's my ambition to get your energy bill within 12 months down 50%. If I can do that, you've done a hell of a job. 5 not 15, 50. Interest rates are going to follow, and actually they're going to follow for another reason. The economy is now not good, and interest rates, you'll see they'll do the rate cut and all the political stuff tomorrow, I think. And, will he do a half a point? Will he do a quarter of a point? But the reason is because the economy is not good. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to do it. But we're going to get interest rates down, and we got to work with our farmers. Our farmers are being decimated right now. They're being absolutely decimated. And, one of the reasons is we allow a lot of farm product into our country. We're going to have to be a little bit like other countries. We're not going to allow so much we're going to let our farmers go to work. And I don't know if you remember, I love the farmers because, I had many meetings as president. I had this gorgeous room with this beautiful table that seats about 35 people. And I was with the farmers. Usually everybody wants something. They all want subsidy. But I was with the farmers, and I think you might have been there, actually, Sarah. I said, look, fellas, we're going to get you such a beautiful subsidy, meaning I'm going to do things. And one of the people raises it, sir, honestly, we don't want a subsidy. It's the first time this ever happened to me. Everyone they want money. They want to build windmills. We want money with these windmills. Anyway, but you know what? It was amazing. He said, almost tears in his eyes, they were getting decimated. We don't want a subsidy. We just want to.
Trump's plan will raise costs on all goods for Americans. Trump explains how he is going to destroy the U.S. and global economy with a tariff war.
You got to build plants. You don't build plants here, we're going to put the tariffs on your products coming in from China. So we can do it quickly, but we're going to have what's called the Reciprocal Trade Act. Now, I dealt with a senator, a very good senator, actually, but he knows nothing about trade. I said, here's what I want to do, Senator. I want to take the reciprocal trade. If they charge us 100%, we charge them 100%. He said, you mean they charge us, we charge them? You got me. How simple could it be? It was sort of cool because he doesn't care. He's a senator, doesn't care about trade, but, you know.
Trump did this before and tanked the economy, and he'll do it again. Trump said, we have Bagram in Alaska.
Having so much money coming out of the energy, we just have the best. We have Bagram in Alaska. They say it might be as big, might be bigger than all of Saudi Arabia. I got it.
Trump's mental decline is on display. Trump said, I don't think I've ever said this before.
She said, I don't think I've ever said this before. So we do these rallies. They're massive rallies. Everybody stays till the end, by the way. You know, when she said that, well, your rallies, people leave. Honestly, nobody does. And if I saw them leaving, I'd say, and ladies and gentlemen, make America great again. And I'd get the hell out, okay? Because I don't want people leaving. But I do have to say, so I give these long, sometimes very complex sentences and paragraphs, but they all come together. I do it a lot. I do it with Raising Cane, that story. I do it with the story on the catapults on the aircraft carriers. I do it with a lot of different stories. When I mentioned Dr. Hannibal Lecter, I'm using that as an example of people that are coming in from Silence of the Lambs. I use it. They say, it's terrible. So they say, so I'll give this long, complex area. For instance, that I talked about a lot of different territory. The bottom line is, I said, the most important thing, we're going to bring more plants into your state and this country to make automobiles. We're going to be bigger than before. But the fake news, there's a lot of them back there. You know, for a town hall, there's a lot of people. But the fake news likes to say, oh, he was rambling. No, that's not rambling. That's genius when you can connect the dots. You gotta now, Sarah, if you couldn't connect the dots, you got a problem. But every dot was connected and many stories were told in that little paragraph.
Trump is a rambling idiot. Trump was asked about bomb threats at schools in Springfield, Ohio.
The police chief, the Republican governor of Ohio, have all debunked this story about people eating pets. And now there are bomb threats at schools and kids being evacuated. Why do you still spread this story?
The real threat is what's happening at our border. Because you have thousands of people being killed by illegal migrants coming in and also dying.
Trump will do and say anything to stay out of prison. Trump said, I was just told by Tom Homan.
To know where they come from. As of last week, I was told by Tom Homan, we had 168 countries represented over the last 12 months. In other words,
Tom Homan is a Project 2025 author. Vance criticized Democrats for saying Trump is a fascist. Ratings and reviews can help the Black Man in America podcast reach a wider audience, and donations will improve the quality of our content. To donate, just click on the support the show link. Thank you.
Look, we can disagree with one another, we can debate one another, but we cannot tell the American people that one candidate is a fascist, and if he's elected, it is going to be the end of American democracy.
Except here is Vance's actual running mate saying exactly that.
It's a choice between communism and freedom. This is communist, this is Marxist, this is fascist. There's a radical left Marxist, communist, fascist. She's a Marxist, she's a fascist. Comrade Kamala Harris. Comrade Kamala Harris. If Comrade Kamala Harris gets 4 more years, you will be living a full-blown banana republic ruled by an anarchy and a tyranny. They're scum. They're scum. And they want to take down our country. They are absolute garbage.
Trump is the one doing all the name calling. Trump has married 2 women who immigrated to the U.S., Ivana and Melania.
If the path to prosperity was flooding your nation with low-wage immigrants, then Springfield, Ohio would be the most prosperous country and the most prosperous city in the world. America would be the most prosperous country in the world because Kamala Harris has flooded the country with 25 million legal aliens.
Immigrants are okay as long as they are white. Trump said Democrats said, please don't call immigrants animals.
The Democrats say, please don't call them animals. They're humans. I said, no, they're not humans. They're not humans. They're animals.
Another example of Trump dehumanizing blacks. Trump said the immigrants are walking off with the town's geese.
Reporting of 911 calls even show residents are reporting that the migrants are walking off with the town's geese. They're taking the geese. You know where the geese are? In the park, in the lake. And even walking off with their pets. My dog's been taken. My dog's been stolen. This can only happen. These people are the worst.
Trump shouldn't even get a sniff of the White House. Trump's long history of inflammatory rhetoric.
This is the day we take our country back. So I got a little notice, in case you see, the security guys, we have wonderful security guys. They said, Mr. Trump, there may be somebody with tomatoes in the audience. So if you see somebody getting ready to throw a tomato, knock the crap out of them, would you? Seriously. Okay? Just knock the hell. I promise you, I will pay for the legal fees. I promise. I promise. There won't be so much because the courts agree with us too. What's going on in this country? We will fight for America like no one has ever fought before. 2024 is our final battle. It's our final battle. We're going to win that battle. We're going to turn this nation around. We're going to make America great again. America first. But it's our final battle. It's the last battle. It's the last shot at it. Because they're down the road. They've taken it down the road with corrupt elections and lots of other things. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. If we don't win on November 5th, I think our country is going to cease to exist. It could be the last election we ever have. I actually mean that. We don't win. I think this could be the last election we ever have. Comrade Kamala Harris, you're fired! You're fired! Get out! Get out! She shouldn't be there anyway. She got no votes. She's a threat to democracy, right? That's what they say. They always say, Donald Trump, you know, it's a soundbite for them. Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. No, she's a threat.
Trump is a white supremacist. This is Donald Trump.
Old, weak. Many don't feel he is fit. Sick, tired. Too old to serve. Stammering, slurring.
He was ranting and raving.
Slipping, forgetting.
And the guy just kept getting confused.
Slow.
Panic has certainly set in.
You know which politician we're talking about, right? Oh, you thought it was about Joe Biden?
Venezuela, it's unbelievable.
Is he all right?
Let's think about some more words. Liar.
I have absolutely no idea who this woman is.
Criminal. Rapist.
I'm here because Donald Trump raped me.
Scammer.
I can say very clearly President Trump is a liar.
Con man. Gross. Vain.
I don't care about you. I just want your vote.
Cruel.
You are a rude, terrible person.
Disgusting. Creep. You know exactly who we're talking about.
You won't have to vote anymore.
Don't you?
Trump is unfit to be president. Trump did his best.
You lost, Donald. Bigly.
Bigly. He lost the debate.
The worst debate performance in history. Even Fox can't defend you.
Oh my God.
Lindsey Graham called it a disaster. Your team? Depressed. Freaked out. Kamala owned you.
Donald Trump was fired.
Told the truth about your little crowds. Called out your stupid lies.
Eating the pets.
You kept taking the bait, and she kept winning. People are saying you should get out, give up. She's better than you. You keep bragging about how smart you are.
Concepts of a plan.
But that debate was a test, a cognitive test, and you failed.
Trump did his best, but I guess it wasn't good enough. 2 minutes of Trump fawning over Laura Loomer.
Really taken the country by storm. Very powerful person, very strong person, very courageous person, a warrior. Laura Loomer. Laura, where are you? Thank you, Laura. Great job you do. We have a lot of great friends and a lot of great people. Laura, how are you? You look so beautiful, as always. That's a woman with courage. You don't want to be Loomered. If you're Loomered, you're in deep trouble. That's the end of your career, in a sense. Thanks, Laura. She's actually...
That smile. That says Trump 2024.
Thank you.
Thank you. We love you.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I love you. I love you, President Trump. Amazing stage time. I love this. I'll never give up on you. Amazing. You're amazing. I love you. Best president ever.
Somebody who's extremely shy, but really talented, and she's going places. Laura Loomer. Where's Laura? Laura. Where is Laura? She doesn't like the sanctimonious. She doesn't like the sanctus.
Hey everybody, we're here at Bedminster and with the greatest president ever, President Donald Trump, who is killing it right now. There's a new poll out, right? You're crushing it. You're up over 50 points. And it's a beautiful day here. Beautiful club. It's my first time here at Bedminster.
Well, it's great to have you, and you've been really very special. You work hard, and you are a very opinionated lady. I have to tell you that, and in my opinion, I like that.
Well, I appreciate that.
all of your support, and you've been terrific, and everybody appreciates your support.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me to sit with you today. Pleasure. You're the best. I love you.
The question is, where is Melania? Trump says he plans to file a lawsuit to throw out mail-in ballots.
We have very bad elections. We have a bad voting system. We have mail-in ballots. And, it's very interesting. I read the other day the post office is saying how bad it is. The post office is critiquing themselves, saying we're really in bad shape. We can't deliver the mail. And they're not even talking about mail-in ballots, right? Where we're going to dump millions and millions of ballots. And I'm saying to myself, how can they be taking the vote and they can't? They are saying they're in very bad shape, that they cannot deliver the mail well. And we're relying on them. And I said, we ought to go to court and we ought to bring a lawsuit because they're going to lose hundreds of thousands of ballots, maybe purposely or maybe just through incompetence. But we have a lot of our votes come in, many, many, big percentage, whatever it may be. But a tremendous percentage, much more than half, come in with the mail-in voting. And we have the post office say they can't do the job. So wouldn't you have to make a change? Well,
Trump will try to steal this election. Here's a glimpse into the deranged mind of Mark Robinson.
Ain't but two genders, ain't nothing but men and women.
He says God called on men to lead, not women.
Called to be led by men. When it was time to face down Goliath, sent David, not DeVita, David. There's no reason anybody anywhere in America should be telling any child about transgenderism, homosexuality, any of that filth. And yes, I called it filth. We could pass a bill saying you can't have an abortion in North Carolina for any reason.
He says the civil rights movement in the 1960s was, quote, crap, and that Martin Luther King was a communist?
Robinson posted the movie Black Panther was, quote, created by an agnostic Jew to pull the shekels out of your Schwartz pockets, using the Yiddish words for money and black.
He referred to the victims of the Parkland school shooting as spoiled little bastards.
He says the moon landing in 1969 may have been fake. He also says there is a secret ruling cabal that is part reptile.
And said that Beyonce is satanic.
Robinson said, if I was in the KKK, I would have called Martin Luther King Martin Lucifer Coon. This coon has some nerve. Trump said about Mark Robinson. Trump took down his post about Mark Robinson. Robinson is a self-proclaimed black Nazi pervert. Amber Nicole Thurman died because of Trump's abortion ban. Go to blackmaninamerica.com blog for more information. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in to another powerful episode of Black Men in America. Stay informed, stay aware, and keep fighting for truth and justice. Don't forget to visit blackmeninamerica.com for more resources and insights. See you next time, and may God bless us all. Black Men in America podcast and OG FOXXIE production. Love and peace to us all.